What happens when one personality type can silence an entire room, not with anger, but with a joke so sharp it cuts through tension and expectation? INFJs are masters of dark comedy, wielding self-deprecation and bluntness in ways that leave others both unsettled and captivated. But why does their humor feel so different, so misunderstood, even among close friends? The answer runs deeper than wit. It's woven into the fabric of their complex inner world. Today, we'll break down the 9 paradoxical cognitive triggers that fuel the INFJ's one-of-a-kind comedic style. So, what drives an INFJ to turn their most awkward moments into punchlines? Before we start, please hit the like button, comment, and subscribe so you won't miss any of our weekly deep dives into the world of personality types. If you are looking to gain a deeper understanding of yourself and your personality type, click the link in the comments to take our favorite free personality test. Trigger number 1. Introverted thinking creates self-deprecating material. With introverted thinking as their tertiary function, INFJs possess a mind built for analysis, especially when it comes to their own mistakes. Every awkward moment, every offbeat comment is replayed and dissected in private. But instead of letting these memories haunt them, INFJs often turn them into self-deprecating jokes. It's not about fishing for sympathy or masking distress. It's about taking control, choosing to laugh at their flaws, so those flaws lose their sting. You might hear an INFJ casually joke about overthinking whether their thanks sounded robotic at a meeting. It's a subtle move, a way to shrink shame down to a punchline. This humor isn't just a coping mechanism. It's an act of harmless fun that transforms personal mishaps into something relatable. The room relaxes, people smile, and the INFJ has quietly shifted the mood. But this is just one layer. The real magic happens when their empathy steps in and they start reading the emotional weather of the room, sometimes before anyone else even notices. Trigger number 2. Extroverted feeling turns tension into comedy. Step into a room where the air feels thick, everyone is silent, and eyes dart away from the discomfort. For an INFJ, this isn't just background noise, it's a call to action. With extroverted feeling as their secondary function, INFJs absorb the emotional climate around them, often feeling the weight of others' moods even more than their own. Instead of confronting tension head-on, they reach for humor as their secret weapon. It's rarely the safe, predictable kind. Picture that classic family dinner where tempers simmer and words hang unspoken. Out of nowhere, the INFJ breaks the ice with something like, "Okay, who pooped in your Cheerios this morning?" The absurdity snaps everyone out of their funk. Laughter erupts, tension dissolves, and, for a moment, the room breathes again. This isn't just a party trick. It's emotional intelligence at work, a way to reset the mood without anyone losing face. But not everyone catches the joke, or even understands why it works. Some laugh, some look confused. That's where the real mystery of the INFJ's humor begins. Trigger number 3. Their unique nature makes them hard to understand. There's a reason INFJs seem like a puzzle no one quite solves. Their humor doesn't just stand out. It stands apart, shaped by a mind that never stops searching for meaning beneath the surface. With introverted intuition guiding the way, you're always reading between the lines, spotting patterns and contradictions others miss. This complexity isn't just for show, it's the filter through which every joke passes, often blending irony and unexpected shifts in tone that leave some people grinning, others blinking in confusion. You know not everyone will understand, so you pick your audience carefully. Before letting your most unfiltered or dark jokes fly, you test the waters, watching for a spark of recognition, a shared glance, a subtle nod. It's a silent way of saying, if you get this, you get me. For those who do, your humor feels like a secret handshake. For those who don't, it's just another riddle. But when the world's weight becomes too much, their jokes become lifelines. Coming up next, Trigger number 4. They use humor as a coping mechanism. You hold the world's pain close, sometimes too close. High empathy and perfectionism push you to fix what's broken, to shoulder burdens that never belonged to you in the first place. When you can't save everyone, guilt creeps in, whispering that you should have done more. No amount of rest or venting truly lightens that load. So you reach for humor, not the light kind, but the kind with shadows. Dark humor becomes your private release valve, a way to let feelings out without exposing raw nerves. You might joke, "Guess I'm responsible for that poor old lady's bad day," when you couldn't help someone in need. It's not about dismissing the pain, it's about making it bearable, about turning guilt and overwhelm into something you can control, even if just for a moment. Yet this humor does more than mask the ache. It's how you start to process the weight of everything you carry, setting the stage for what comes next. Trigger number 5. Dark humor helps them process heavy emotions. Dark humor is your shield against the world's heaviness. When life hands you grief, loneliness, or injustice, you don't look away. You look straight at it, and then you laugh at the tragedy of life. It isn't callousness. It's a way to acknowledge pain without letting it consume you. Your mind, always tuned to the world's undercurrents, finds relief in making the unbearable just a little more casual, a little less threatening. You might find yourself sitting across from a friend, coffee cooling between you, and say something like, "Maybe life is just an elaborate lesson in laughing while everything falls apart." In that moment, the tension lifts. The joke isn't cruel, it's a quiet act of compassion for yourself and the person listening. By naming the darkness and giving it a punchline, you shrink it down to size, making it something you can both hold for a moment before moving on. But sometimes, humor isn't just about processing emotions. It's about seeing how far you can push the boundaries of what people will accept. Trigger number 6. They test social boundaries through comedy. You don't just observe the rules, you quietly test them. For INFJs, humor isn't rebellion. It's a subtle experiment, a way to map out where comfort ends and truth begins. Driven by curiosity about human behavior, you might toss out a joke that brushes against what's acceptable, like quipping, "Should we start selling tickets to this meltdown?" when someone's drama fills the room. Or, in a tense moment, you'll ask, "Is it your time of the month? Or is the universe just extra cruel today?" It sounds risky, but there's a reason. You're probing for depth, not shock value. You want to know who can handle your wit, who gets your wordplay, and who recoils. If someone laughs, you recognize a kindred spirit, someone who sees the world's absurdity the way you do. But if judgment flickers across their face, you pull back, keeping your true self guarded. This isn't about pushing buttons for fun. It's about finding out who's safe for your most honest thoughts. But their sharpest jokes come from an even deeper insight. Wait until you hear about their intuitive punchlines. Trigger number 7. Their deep insights create unexpected punchlines. You see the world in layers, always searching for what hides beneath the surface. With introverted intuition as your dominant function, pattern recognition isn't just a skill, it's your second nature. You notice the details no one else sees, and from those threads, you weave irony into moments that would otherwise go unnoticed. This isn't just about spotting connections. It's about building humor from the subtle absurdities of life. Your jokes aren't random. They land with a twist, a quiet observation that cuts through the obvious and lands somewhere deeper. Picture the news of a sudden workplace shakeup. While others groan, you murmur, "It's good to know chaos has a 5-year plan." It's not just wit for its own sake. There's always a layer of meaning, a nudge at the irony hiding in plain sight. Sometimes only a few catch the punchline. And that's enough. You know your humor won't always land, so you measure your audience, choosing the right moment to share. Their wit can shield an INFJ in social storms. More on that in a moment. Trigger number 8. Humor becomes their social defense mechanism. When conversation shifts and eyes land on you, humor becomes your armor. It's not just about being funny, It's about self-preservation. In crowded rooms or shallow exchanges, you sense the energy turning and instinctively reach for sarcasm, irony, or even the occasional morbid joke to kill a conversation before it exposes too much. You wield these tools to redirect attention, sidestep conflict, and keep your real feelings safely tucked away. It's a silent defense, a way to protect the parts of you that feel too raw for the surface. Take the moment when someone heaps praise on you in public. You might brush it off with a self-effacing line like, anyone can spend years second-guessing their work, right? The laughter that follows isn't just relief. It's a shield, keeping admiration and scrutiny at a comfortable distance. You manage your energy by choosing which parts of yourself to reveal and which to hide behind a well-timed punchline. Finally, discover how you find comedy in life's chaos and why that matters. Trigger number 9. They find comedy in life's absurdities. Some people see a pointless meeting and roll their eyes. You see the irony, how a conversation about efficiency can waste an entire afternoon. This is your gift, internal intuition-driven hyper-awareness that catches the contradictions others miss. You spot the illogical, the overlooked, the moments that make no sense, and turn them into a private punchline. It's not just about getting a laugh, it's about making sense of a world that rarely lines up with your ideals. You don't just notice these absurdities, you reframe them, transforming frustration into something you can hold and even share. Humor becomes your way of processing the overload, a tool for resilience. When life feels like it's spiraling, you might quip, synchronizing chaos since forever. In that moment, you're not just surviving, you're connecting, showing others that it's okay to find amusement in the mess. There's a reason this humor cuts so deep. It isn't a flaw, it's a reflection of something far more complex. Humor for the INFJ runs deeper than a quick laugh. It's a lens for making sense of contradictions, a bridge for connection, and a tool for resilience when the world becomes overwhelming. Every dark punchline, every subtle quip, carries the weight of a mind that never stops searching for meaning. Which of these 9 reasons feels most like you, or took you by surprise? Share your thoughts in the comments. If this exploration resonated, like and subscribe for more insights into what makes INFJs tick. You've seen humor's secrets. Next up, the hidden superpowers INFJs use in crisis. In every shadow, an INFJ finds the spark of a joke. If you want to continue the journey to understanding yourself or an INFJ in your life, click either of the following videos where we continue to unlock the secrets of the INFJ personality type.